I want to thank you for carving out time, because I do know it's a really busy time for you.
You're welcome.
The upcoming election. So, just over a handful of questions. Why are you running for office?
I'm running for office because I've been teaching for 18 years, and I've watched a steady decline in academics, in behavior, and in mental well-being of kids. And I've watched this, we know that test scores are, over half of the kids in the district are below state achievement levels. And I have solutions, and I have a plan, and I know the magic of teaching, how the magic happens in the classroom. I've been on the front lines, and I know success in teaching. I know how to help kids to be successful and adults to be successful. And so I couldn't stand by and watch it any longer. I had to jump in, and I'd love to implement plans and see it change.
What makes you qualified for the job?
Well, I have experience in successful teaching. And so, even during the pandemic, when a lot of people were very concerned about, being on Zoom and doing these different things, it was actually a time for my kids to shine, because I am very routine, I'm very consistent, and the kids know what to expect. And so when you've trained them well, and then you're hit with something really difficult and hard, it is a time for them to shine and to see what they're made of, and to take their learning into their own hands. And so I'm somebody who believes in overcoming situations, not making excuses for them. And so even in this difficult environment that we have right now in our schools, I am somebody who believes that there is something different that we could be doing, and it will be the change that is needed. And so I have experience in watching kids learn and seeing them grow. I have experience putting teams together of people that come to the table and work together, and it becomes a team, a successful team. And so I want to implement those ideas and turn the schools around.
What are your two main priorities if you win?
Two main priorities. The first one is to bring transparency to not just the County Office of Education, but across the board. Parents should be able to see what their kids are learning. We should be able to see budgets and the different things that are not able to be seen right now. Last week they had a 5-2 vote to not record board meetings at the County Office of Education, and that's unacceptable. There's not a reason for it. If people in North County want to come down to see board meetings, they have to be there by 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Monday, so that's not really ideal. And so we need to have people involved in the process and to be able to see what's going on. So transparency is the first one. The second one is positive educational outcomes. We need our kids learning. We need them to be equipped with the skills for going to college and doing all the amazing things that they're designed to do. And right now that's not the case. So, we need to jump in there and roll up our sleeves and start, getting some positive work done, making sure we're having good outcomes for the programs that we are paying a lot of money for.
How will you interact with other governments?
With other governments, and can I ask you to clarify what you mean by that?
Just other governments that the education office would have to deal with, whether it's law enforcement, whether it is mental wellness,
okay.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Social services.
Yeah, I think that we have to take a look at where, what is happening in our schools and what is necessary. And so I think that it requires a conversation with teachers and parents and administration, and kind of come up with a good plan. I've supported having safety resource officers in the school districts. They've always, I think, provided some safety and some just keeping it safe for kids. And so I think we need to talk about that and see what is the role, if there needs to be a change in roles. As long as it's better for the kids, I think it's great. As far as mental wellness goes, sometimes there's a need for those types of interventions. And so I'd like to see what we can fix as a district and then supplement with those things as necessary. But we have to get an idea of, kind of get down to the root of what the problem is and then go from there.
Okay. What are your plans to help overcome the impacts of the pandemic?
Well, as we know, during the pandemic, there's been a lot of learning loss, but I think that's where my experience comes in, because I look for solutions to these problems. You know, a literacy task force, implementing a literacy task force right off the bat, starting it in the Santa Barbara County Office of Education preschools, you know, to really give the little kids the support that they need to grow, and then to bring in those that have effective and positive outcomes in their programs, and applying those types of curriculums and training with our kids and our teachers. And so again, it's kind of getting a temperature of where everything is at, and really implementing effective and, you know, measurable programs that will start moving us forward.
Okay. Which two issues are most important to you?
Well, safety is really important, because if kids are not safe, they can't learn. You know, in a learning environment, you have to be vulnerable, you have to take risks, you have to be able to make mistakes, you have to be able to trust the people that are leading you. And so I think a safe environment is essential for education to happen. It's in the subject matter that I teach, physical education. You know, kids are risking putting themselves out there and making mistakes. And, you know, they have to be able to have those risks and be safe and not be picked on by other kids or any of those sorts of things. And then the other thing is engaged leadership. You know, being able to have a conversation with administration or principals or teachers, parents being able to ask hard questions. I think a good leader can handle any hard question. It shows a willingness to understand. It shows a willingness to listen and to be heard, even if we don't agree. It's okay if we don't agree. I've had parents that I don't agree with. But if we can come to some common ground and both sides feel heard and we can work together, that's how we're going to move the kids forward. And as adults, we have to be able to do that in the best interest of kids. So I think those two are those are real passionate things for me.
Okay. And then finally, is there anything else that you want to say to the voters?
I think as a teacher and being in the classroom and being there for 18 years and having experience with all grade levels, I really understand what the problem is. I've seen it firsthand. I spent a lot of time in the classroom during the pandemic, supporting in reading and literacy, and when we have, you know, 2/3 of our population are not proficient in math and over half are not proficient in literacy, we're not doing a good service for kids. And so I love to see kids learn. I told you at the beginning that elementary school is my favorite. And I think an emphasis in elementary school is going to set these kids up for success as they go to junior high and high school. And so we have to start it young and give them everything that they need to figure out the amazing things that they're going to do in our future. We live in a beautiful town, and there's so many opportunities for kids to get involved in all kinds of creative things in Santa Barbara. And I want to give them the opportunity and equip them with the skills to be able to do that.
Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time and sitting down with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
Voters
for
will
having
too.
me. Yes, I appreciate it.